Hi everyone. A little late starting. I'm still trying to set this up. Thank you for joining me on this Memorial Day. If you live here in the United States with me, today is Memorial Day, so I appreciate everybody who has taken the time to watch me. Hi Jody and Melissa. Thank you for sharing. Melissa Oso. Hi everyone. Hi Eric. So happy. Oh, Harsha, everyone. Welcome so much. I'm very happy to be here. I have been being led to do this. Hi Lisa. I'm a very shy person. Some of you know that. And so today I am going to start opening up. It's time for me to do that. The mother has been telling me it's time to wave her flag, wave my flag. I'm just very modest and shy. Yeah, I'm just one of those people that don't usually go, "Hey, look at me," you know. But because what I'm doing with my book and my life, she made me realize yesterday that since I took the pledge to go on the path, basically live my life for spirit and for the whole world, she reminded me that my life isn't really my own anymore. I don't belong only to myself, I belong to you too. And so I'm going to start sharing more about my life and why I'm here in front of you today. Oh, hello. I won't be going over the comments and stuff as much as I really need to get what I've written down here out. So when I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. You know, for a while, I was just... Okay, so, I'm sorry, the mother wants to say hello. She wants to say hello to her children because so many don't even acknowledge her. There's so many people that acknowledge the male god, we call it God. They don't even know the sacred feminine exists. And when I say the mother, I mean our planet a lot of the times, but a lot of the time it's also the sacred feminine that nobody really knows about. I didn't know about it until I was told. And she wants to be in front of everyone. She wants to say hello. She wants to say that she loves you. She's still there. She's ready. Hi, Silver, Christy, Ryan. Thank you for joining me. This isn't easy for me, but I'm doing it because I need to. For those of you who don't know, I've written a novel, Perception, The Two Yet One, Book 1. It is inspired by my life and by my husband David's. And that's why I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and why I wrote Luna and Sunny the way I did. Those are my characters, Sunny and Luna. Oh, thank you, Jody, because I don't feel like I'm doing great, man. When I hear David and he's live, he is just, ooh, like, he's like a professional. And then I watch my live videos and I'm over here going, you know. So I wrote it down. Writing it down helps for me. Go figure. So in my book, I started with before they were born. And David, honey, the dogs are moving this all around.
Okay.
Could you?
I got them.
So I want to say this. Before I have an older sister. Her name is Jennifer. And I wanted to, my mom wanted to name me, sorry, my dogs are, baby, can you please just get them out? Get them out of the room.
All right.
Go put them,
on it.
because they're not gonna, my dogs. They really just listen to me. They, they give David kind of a hard time, and they're moving this all around, so I have to, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
All right. Before I was born, my mother wanted to name me Mary. But she could not name me Mary because she had already named my sister Jennifer Marie. That's significant. I was born October 8th, 1971. And that was 3:52 in the morning, I think it was. Hi, Becky. Oh, thank you. Bless you too. Hi, Sevi. Terrence. All right. So my birthday. Okay, here's the thing about my birthday. I was told this by a psychic named Angela. I'll refer to her probably often, and I will tell you the whole story about that later on. But right now, I'll tell you what she told me about my birthday. Oh, you can't see that. It's backwards. All right. October 8th. October is the 10th month. The 8th. So what you have with October 8th is 10-8, 108. If anybody knows my husband, they know what that means. That's the number of the sacred feminine. Angela told me that, and I was like, yeah. I didn't know what the sacred feminine was. I didn't know what she was talking about. Then she says, okay, so the year you were born was 1971. Okay, so 1 and 9 equal 10. 7 and 1 equal 8. So what I had is a 10-8, 10-8 situation. And she's like all floored, and she's like, do you see that? And I'm just like, I was 23. I don't know what the heck she was talking about. And she also told me that I am a life path 9. Anybody who knows my husband, oh man, they know what the 9 means. That's my life path. All right. That being said, as a little kid, my mind was always going. I had so much energy. I would wake up like as soon as the sun came up, and I was awake sometimes past midnight. And I was a little teeny kid too. I was like 3, 4, 5 during this time. I used to try to keep my sister awake, and I made up a game called Chukila. I said, let's play Chukila. It's kind of like baseball, and she's like all trying to go to sleep, and I'm like, no, stay awake. We slept in the same room. And as I laid there, many times, I realized now, I look back, and I thought about men a lot. One of my favorite cartoons was Speed Racer. Anybody remember Speed Racer cartoon? I was in love with him. I was devastated when my mom told me he was a cartoon and I could never grow up, and I would grow up and I couldn't marry him, basically. But anyway, If anybody remembers that cartoon, they would remember how kind of a violent relationship Speed Racer had with his father. His father was always like knocking him out, you know? And so in my time by myself on my bed, I'd be like, "You do, Melissa. See? Yeah." And so I used to think about that a lot because it was just me and my sister, and I wasn't around like a family with a lot of men, or I didn't have a brother. I didn't understand any of that, that kind of dynamic that went on. And I was talking to David about that earlier, and I think what I was really doing was connecting to his life. I was connecting to a future that he would catch up to in 1978 when his father um, began whooping him and his brothers with a belt, which is what happens to my character Sonny and his brothers in my book Perception. Um, that's why I have Sonny and Luna so connected, because I felt him. When I was a child, I felt what my husband was going to go through. And when I think about that, it floors me. There's a lot of stuff about my life that floors me. I would cry thinking about that stuff, and I'd always be, really curious about men and stuff, and now I see that my life has been filled with men. When I married David, I have my one son, and then he's got 3, and so, whoa, there you go. Eric, you wanted a Mach 5? Oh, heck yeah, so did I. I was like, oh man, the Mach 5, that's got to be mine someday. That's why I wanted to marry him. Oh, when that movie came out, my son got some serious kudos that year for Mother's Day. He took me to see that movie, Speed Racer, when it came out. It was awesome. Okay, so anyway, back then, my sister and I shared a room, and one night I was going to sleep. This is some paranormal stuff that happened to me. The first paranormal thing that I knew was paranormal. The thing with the men, I didn't realize until, these days. So I'm in my bed late at night, trying to go to sleep, and I'm on my stomach. And I'm just going to sleep, and my mind's just running. And I'm thinking, as I'm going to sleep, wouldn't it be scary if our covers flew off of us? But before I could finish that thought, my covers and my sister's covers both flew off of us, all the way off of the bed at the exact same time, as if they were connected, like somebody was next to the bed and just ripped them off at once. My sister and I screamed. We're like, we got out of bed, it woke my sister up. We went running. We're like, there's a ghost in the room. That's what we figured it was, There's a ghost in the room, and, my dad comes in, he looks around, they don't see anything. We got to go back to bed, somehow go back to sleep. That scared the crap out of me. And if anybody else had anything like that going on, so that got me thinking. I have this mind that just thinks and thinks and thinks all the time, right? And so all these things were just like feeding me. And I'm just like, what is life? When I was really small like that, I used to go sit by myself. I would, like if my sister went to go play, I would sit out front and wait for her just by myself in the silence, in the wind. Oh, and I used to, I guess, control the wind. I would say blow on me and it would blow, and I would say stop and it would stop. And I thought I was just getting lucky until I started practicing that again. And well, I haven't done it for a while. There's things that I want to learn. I want to see how far that goes. I want to see if I really can control that wind and how much, I've been doing it a couple of summers now. You can ask anybody. I've been trying to make what I call a wind wall so that I'm not getting wind blown on me too much because it makes me have allergies and stuff. So that's all just kind of a fun thing. Anyway, so I'm outside and I'm very thoughtful, but I didn't realize what I was doing was I was outside on the grass grounding. If anybody knows what grounding is, that's when you connect to nature. That's when you're like, yeah, I'm alive. I'm part of Mother Earth, and you're outside and you're absorbing all the free radicals and the energy of the earth, and sometimes you feel a pull down your spine, and I didn't feel that until many years later, when I was in a cemetery, just standing there thinking about life. And back then, I thought the ghosts, I was standing in a cemetery, so when I felt that, I thought that the ghosts were trying to pull me down into the ground. We get these ideas in our head. If we don't understand our bodies and this reality of life. If I had been told about chakras, I wouldn't have thought that, right? I would have opened my chakras a long time ago, but all this stuff is hidden from us. So, I feel that feeling, and what do I think it is? Oh, it's ghosts, and everybody's scared of ghosts. Okay, anyway. See, this is how I go in circles because my mind, and it's kind of hard for me to really concentrate. That's why I got to write it all down and come back to it later and perfect a sentence or a paragraph or whatever. But so please bear with me. I need to do this. Okay, so yeah, I was a lonely kid. I sat alone a lot. I was shy. The kids told me I was ugly. I had really big eyes, and that's also a lot like Luna, my character in my book. She has large eyes, and some of the kids would tell her she was ugly. And if anybody remembers being a kid, if the kids thought you were ugly, yeah, you don't get any friends, right? So in elementary school, I was a nerd. My sister, oh, everybody loved my sister. She was awesome, beautiful. Pardon me. I just ate dinner. Anyway, so between us two sisters, she's tough, she's beautiful, she's awesome, she's got all these boyfriends, and then you've got Allison over here, and she's got big eyes, and she's chunky, and she's shy, and then when I would play with people, I tended to be kind of bossy. If they didn't do what I said, I'd get all mad, and I got when I'm angry, I got this look. It's not, it's scary. I think I scared a lot of kids with my angry look in my face. And so that is what's like Sunny. That's where that crosses over. That was my life experience. Everybody looks at David. I mean, he smiles. He's just, he's beautiful. But when, I used to scare people. I used to scare kids. Even when I was still a kid, the kids are just like, they're just scared of me. And that used to hurt my feelings a lot until I realized that I was walking around with this face, that just looks really, I mean, I don't even want to make it for you right now. I just don't even want to, because it's, but, so people used to be scared of me. And, what I think it is that when I was angry, even as a little kid, if I was angry at you and I looked at you, I was just so focused. Like the focus of an adult or something. I don't know. I think that's just what scared the kids, because other kids would look at each other and they would be like, they could deal with another kid's anger. But if I looked at another kid with anger, they were just like, oh my God, where's my mom? So that made me feel really alone. So many things about me made me feel so alone. And then, of course, there's all my emotions. And I mentioned this in one of my previous videos when I was this small, and I would see old people, old or sick people, especially if they were suffering, if they're having a hard time getting along. I would just break down in tears. And my mom would be like, "Why are you crying?" And I'd be like, "'Cause they're gonna die soon." That's all I could that's all I could say. That's how I could articulate it. And as I meditated on it later, I realized that it was because they the mother was in me. The mother, the sacred feminine is in my heart. And she was talking to me. And she was saying, "These children, these are my children, and they're dying before they even live." Because to me, when you know about your chakras, when you know about the things they teach us on the path, about our bodies, about our emotions, about our energy, you live. You come to life. It's like permission to be happy. I lost my train of thought. I made a point there, but now I'm like, I'm looking at all these hearts, and see, they distract me, but I am really appreciative. I thank you so much for being with me, you guys. As a person who was lonely a lot as a child, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget people calling me ugly and people not wanting to be my friend. And so when people tell me they love me now, and when people tell me I'm beautiful, I still feel that. The child in me, the little ugly child, still feels so grateful. All right. Ah, the second paranormal thing that happened in that one house I was telling you about. Now the covers flew off of me. The second paranormal thing. Anybody who's my age, and I'm 45 or somewhere close to it, there was this doll. She wasn't a Barbie, but she was like a Barbie, and her name was Tiffany Taylor. She was awesome. I'll tell you something about myself, is that it was weird that the mother's in me, but I was never very maternal. I didn't play I didn't play babies. I wasn't, "Oh, I'm your mommy." I wasn't like that, which is so, I think about that a lot now. If the mother's in me, why didn't I be like that? I don't know. My thing was Barbies. And what I loved about Tiffany Taylor was that she was a single woman. She had her own townhouse, and she had this twistable head, and she could be brunette or blonde, and she was just so awesome. And she came with a green leisure suit. It was the 70s. I didn't have any of the cute pink stuff that all the kids have now. All the colors for Barbies back then were brown, yellow, orange. Took till the 80s before they got all the cute pink stuff and fluffy dresses that I love. I've always loved fluffy dresses. When I was really little, I told my mom I wanted a fluffy dress with puffs and wings and a crown and a wand. So she still teases me about that, but I think we all know why I wanted that. Anyway, so Tiffany Taylor, she was my favorite doll, and I had just gotten her for Christmas. And one night I was playing with her, and you know how my mind gets just a little too wound up, and I did not want to put her away for the night. I didn't want to go to bed. I never wanted to go to bed. I never wanted to let go of a day, right? But it's time to go to bed. And we had a playroom. And I'm like, okay. So I start getting like obsessive because I don't want to go to bed. My mind starts going into overdrive, obsessive. Okay, well, tomorrow, see, our playroom was really messy, and I wanted to be able to find her the next day. Tomorrow I'm going to find her, right? So we had a dresser in there and it was filled with toys and stuff. And I took a bottom drawer out and I dumped it. And I put only her in there. I laid her in there and I said goodnight to her like she was going to bed. And I closed the drawer. The next day, she was gone. When I went to bed that night, my mind, I'm not going to find her. I'm not going to find her. I'm not going to find her. I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose her. I wake up the next morning. Well, what happened? She was gone. We moved a couple of years after that. I mean, we looked everywhere. Me, my sister, my parents, we looked everywhere. We could not find her. And when we moved, we went through everything. All the little cracks and crannies behind everything. We never found her. A couple of years would go by and I would ask my sister if she still remembered that and the thing with the covers flying, and she would remember. And then when we were teenagers, finally I asked my parents and my sister all together, I said, what do you think happened to her? Did you throw her away, Mom? And Mom's like, no, I mean, that was right after you got her. She was brand new. We wouldn't have thrown her away for any reason at all. Nothing had happened. You loved her. My sister, she didn't steal her from me. She didn't hide her. She wasn't like that. My sister wasn't like that at all. She wouldn't have done that to me. She was just gone. I don't know what happened to her. As far as I know, she could be out in space like this. Anyway, so I thought that was heck of weird, right? More stuff for this mind to just keep me up at night. Just keep me up. My mind is just freaking. Anyway, so we moved to a place called Corona, California. That's also in my book. Now, also in the book, Luna loses her bracelet almost the exact same way. So that experience of mine is what led to that for Luna in my book. Oh, thank you. The backdrop is pretty. Thank you. Yeah, I'm wearing my tie-dyed shirt today with my heart. See, it's a big heart. It just looks like I just shoved my boobs in you guys' face. Anyway. All right, so that was the Tiffany Taylor thing. Okay, empath issues. Oh, man. Anybody out there who's an empath, you know what I'm talking about. Empath issues suck. I did not know I was an empath. All I knew is that, okay, sure, I could go to Disneyland and enjoy myself. I could go to the mall and thought everybody there was my family. My mom would push me in the stroller. I'd be going along going, yeah. But when I had like family get-togethers, I grew up with a wonderful, loving, happy, loud Mexican family. Man, I love my family. We are so funny. We are funny people. We really are. I mean, we can be emotional like everybody, but we're really funny people, and we love to hang together, or, But me, after a while, after about an hour, I usually had to go take a nap. I would go in the back room and just take a nap. I didn't know why I had to do that. I didn't know what was happening. I just started to feel really tired. And I would feel that way in class. more when I was a teenager because, also because at night as a teenager, I'm still not sleeping. Insomniac all my life, right? Lost my train of thought. Was I talking about again? Okay, the empath issues. See? I love this. Writing it down. See, it really helps me out here. Okay, so I just think that when you're in school, there's a lot of concentrating going on. There's a lot of focus on the teacher, and there's a lot of mental stuff going on. And that's one of the reasons why I was so tired in class. I just couldn't take it. And I think it's the same thing with a family get together. We're all talking, we're sharing ideas, our minds are working, and we're shooting out all kinds of emotions. And I didn't have any clue. Nobody told me about empaths. We didn't know. We were Catholic. Anybody out there raised Catholic, you know what that's like. It's like being raised Catholic. It's like guilt. And something happened to you. Well, why? What did you do to make that happen? Or oh, those ghost things? Oh, yeah. Sorry that happened to you, but don't think about it. It'll happen more. Don't invite them. All these decisions made from fear. Let me tell you something. I realized a long time ago, don't make a decision made in fear. I'm still trying to, this is what got me here today. I'm still trying to live this way. Don't make decisions based in fear, ever. That's why I say don't fear. Don't be afraid to live. If you make a decision based in fear, that fear is that first energy you're putting into that idea, right? Nothing good is going to come of it. If the first frickin' energy you're putting into it is fear, is that going to end up being good for you? No. You know what it's going to do? It's going to bring you more fear. Something more for you to fear. So, when it comes to me and fear, that's another thing I've been thinking about. It's kind of hard. When you're on the path, you got to be happy. Make sure your life is happy. Don't put up with bullshit. Don't put up with people, all that stuff. Where you cut somebody off if they're pissing you. They're not just pissing you off, but if they're like draining you, it's okay to cut them off, So you try to be happy. You try to make sure that your frequency stays high. That's what that is. You got to be happy to keep your energy up high. There I go again. Circles again. Okay. Anyway. All right, so Catholicism. I'm still a kid. I'm in my room late at night. And I just know that the moment I fear demons or whatever, that I was going to be possessed. Trying to go to sleep in my room by myself, being like, trying to fight off demons. All by myself, personal little battle. I'm sure we've all been there. You've all been there, right? You're a kid, you're scared. What's going to get me? A ghost, a demon, something scary. The shadow spirits, they're in my book too. But what it did is it made me pray a lot. Oh man, did I pray. Prayed and prayed and prayed. One night I was so scared that I prayed to God and I asked God to please show me my guardian angel. Well, I opened my eyes. And the room wasn't dark anymore. It was kind of blue. And right in the middle of the room, the feet were going through the floor, the head was going through the roof, the wings were outstretched and going through the walls. It was a male, and he was slowly turning as if watching for all danger. And let me tell you something about that. I saw it with my own eyes, not with my third eye, or maybe with my third eye. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. He was clear enough for me to see, but not so clear as to frighten me. He was clear enough to let me know I was there. I thought that was really awesome. You know? So what that taught me is that you're going to get what you're ready for. What you ask for from the divine, you'll get, but only what you're truly ready for. So what I got was a vision, but I wasn't quite sure. How many of us have those? Oh, I thought I saw that, but it was in the dark. Maybe it wasn't real. Catholicism. Oh, maybe it's Satan trying to get me. Yes. And I adjust this a little bit. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, everything's in those Akashic records. You know, I don't know if I have that same connection as David does to the Akashic records, because I have not tried. There's a lot of stuff that I have not tried. I have not tried to read anybody, because I'm always trying to keep people out. I'm always trying to shield myself. And I realized that. And so now I'm trying, now I've decided to see what I can do. I mean, if I can heal people, I mean, I send healing. I do. And you feel it. You've seen it. But can I do more? That's something I'm thinking about. I may need your help. I learn through meditation and contemplation, and each day I am used to following signs. That's how Spirit talks to me on a constant basis, is through personal signs all day long. And I've just been really wrapped up in my own life, so that I've never tried to do that kind of stuff. But that psychic, Angela, she told me I would. She told me I would be as good an intuitive as she someday. I don't know if I'm there yet, but maybe with your help I can be. Anybody who can help me, Jerry, that's awesome. Please, you can message me. I don't always see my messages right away. I'm not on my phone as much as David. A lot of the time I've got it on silent and I'm writing or something else. So if you want to message me, I welcome those messages. Just give me time to respond. And sometimes I'll even respond and then put my phone down and I got to go do something. And so I might not even have that same, back and forth conversation, but I do try. So give me a shot. I'll tell you, I'm available then, and then we can have that kind of conversation. Okay? I don't want to seem unavailable. I just want everyone to understand that that's how my life flows. All right, so with all that spirit going on, that scared of spirit thing, I mean, how many of you have looked at, when you're a kid, you look at the wall you got a picture or something and it just looks like it's wiggling, right? I mean, how many of us have seen that? I had a my sister and I had a like a Disney poster, and it just, I think it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they just would like wiggle every night, and I was, sometimes they would jerk, you know, and I was like, there's no way. So I don't know how much of that was just my eyes or, real spirits doing stuff. So, oh, you know what else I've noticed? That when I feel something in my heart, when I'm like embarrassed or upset when I'm on video, it'll create an issue with the camera. So I'm trying to get a handle on that because I know I've got energy, I just can't control it yet. I've been trying. I send people energy every day, but when it comes to talking and what comes like out of my heart or out of me, I can't control that part yet. I'm trying. So sorry if your video is getting screwed up or if it's flickering or something like that. Um anyway, so all that spirit stuff got me praying. And I've always had a very close relationship with spirit. Like some of those days when I would be outside and in the wind, what I would do is one of my favorite things to do, actually, and I still do it. And because my mom was a great singer, I wanted to sing as good as she did. She could sing Barbra Streisand. And one day I went outside and I asked God, I said, God, I want to sing as good as my mom. I want to sing really well. If I promise to make up and sing songs about you and praise you, will you give me a good voice like my mom? So, I have a pretty good voice. I love singing. I sing Barbra Streisand. I sing Lady Gaga. I sing Sia. And I love singing mantras. I love Ra Ma Da Sa Se Sa Hung with I love singing, and I love singing praises to spirit. And a few weeks ago, I think it was after one of my live videos, I was so grateful that I'd gotten through it, that I was able to do it, that I had faced the challenge and I had done it, that I made up and sang songs in the shower. One place where I commune with spirit a great deal is when I'm in the shower. I always have a sacred shower. It's always like a ritual cleansing. It's never just a shower. And so I'm always with spirit at those times. And I was so grateful that I've had such a wonderful response by all you wonderful people who love me that I was led to burst into tears and thank spirit for so much positivity. Do you know how hard it is to go do something that scares you? That's what I'm doing. And I say to myself, Allison, what the heck? I mean, are you facing down death? Or does somebody have a gun? No. It's freaking talking to people, right? There goes the video again. I'm sorry about that. It's just talking to people and talking to people who love me. But it's very hard because I've turned out to be someone I never expected. All right. As I grew up, I was kind of headstrong. Anybody else out there headstrong? Between me and my sister, I used to get in trouble a lot. I just had a lot of ideas. I just came here knowing stuff. I came here knowing a lot of stuff. I am an old soul. And let's see. When we moved again up here, we moved to Northern California. That's when I began to experience real sadness. Because what happened is, what people would say is that I was molested when I was 8. My third cousin, who was 13, um, touched me. I was 8, and I had been told that when you love someone, you do that. It was for later on, but I always loved him. I thought he was awesome. And everybody always wanted my sister. So I felt honored he had chosen me. I had it in my head that we would have this love story and one day be married. I was 8. These are the things that go through your head when you're so young. That's why when I see things these days, it's very disturbing to me. Pedophilia, how some people are trying to get it to be normal or something. Because you know what? Kids are not prepared for sex. I wasn't raped. He didn't hit me. He didn't hurt me. But I was not old enough to understand what I was doing. Neither was he. And I kept that secret for years. Many, many, many years, it seemed. But I think it was only 2. I told my mom. Of course she cried. It was hard. We all loved him. We used to hang out. We moved up here because his mother lived up here and she was so much fun, my aunt. And we had so much fun all together. But I had to tell, I guess it was just on my... As I got older, I realized what had happened. It wasn't right. And I had to tell. People do their best to deal with that. But it ended up blowing my family apart. My fun aunt said things about me. And all that. All our joy. Those family get-togethers, those were over. The big ones. My family never recovered from that. That part of the family split from us, and they are still split from us. I feel very guilty, but I also know that I was a kid. He was a kid. Later on, when I was like 30 or something, I heard through the family, because we still hear stories, he was molested by his stepfather. His first stepfather had molested him, and he thought it was normal, I guess. if we had been raised with the knowledge of sex that I feel we have on the path, the attitude, the about sex, not and Catholicism, it's just so much guilt. It's a guilty thing. If people were just more open about it, then maybe Bobby would have told and it wouldn't have happened to me. But because of the Catholicism, it was all a secret. And my family may never be healed. This is one of the reasons I've got to get the knowledge that we learn on the path out to you, to everyone. I don't want anyone else to go through that. I know they're gonna. But it's time for us to grow up as a species. It's time to mature, teach our children the right things. So, I do a lot of research. And I read about Pizzagate and stuff like that. Makes me wonder what the hell people are thinking. What is the purpose? I think are they just stealing children's energy, or do they think that it's some sort of initiation? Because if they're thinking that needs to stop. That's no initiation. That's trauma. Trauma should never be used as any kind of initiation. At least that's what I think. I studied with a master eventually in my 20s after the reading from the psychic, and he said that there's monks that learn a lesson and then their masters take a baton and whack them so they'll remember. I don't know. I just don't know if any of that is really even necessary. There's just so much. I don't know. So, after that, I was more determined than ever to be a good girl. I mean, I'd been rebellious, I'd been headstrong. Then look what happened. And I said, oh shit. It's time for me to be the good girl God wants me to be. The good girl Catholicism told me I should have been. I should have been more obedient. I should have been less, I don't know, independent. I've been very independent, and that almost felt like something wrong under the rule of Catholicism. And, I gotta tell you though, my parents, my mom and dad, they were both Catholics, and we went to church, and I had my first Holy Communion and stuff, but they were always very open, and they always taught me to think in a more broad sense than just the church too. So I give so much thanks to my parents for making me curious. And my mom encouraged me to be an individual. She let me go to preschool with a tutu on my head. And I told everybody I was a lion. And I went, "Rawr." And all the little kids, oh, they're scared of me, I guess. Anyway, well, remember that. Because later on, when I was a teenager, man, I wore anything I wanted to school. If anybody ever went to high school with me, they knew exactly what I'm talking about. I went, boom! You know what the 80s were like? Oh, I was all over that. I was new age. I was goth before goth, people. Anyway. All right, so junior high comes along. That's where I met David. Oh, thank you, darling. Now, here's the thing. My character, Luna, had a makeover by her friend Ming. And when she was shown herself in the mirror, she just didn't even recognize herself. That happened to me. My mom did that for me, though. It wasn't Ming, it was my mother. The summer before, 7th grade, she put some eyeliner and some mascara on me. And more makeup, but it was light. But like I say in my book, the most was the eyeliner. The eyeliner makes my eyes look smaller. It makes them, I don't know. If I didn't have my eyeliner on, I'd be like, you guys would be, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, she showed me that, and my life changed. I started wearing makeup, and people started to perceive me as pretty and beautiful the way people do now. And guess what happened? I got the most beautiful boyfriend that anybody could have ever asked for. He was tall, muscular, sparkly blue eyes. His face was like a model. He was sweet. All the girls loved him. His name was Ray, not David. But Ray was the reason why I didn't fall for David. David was just like all the little boys that I used to fall for. Just before my mom put my face on. Just before I started to fall for all that physical crap. When people go looking for a partner, they look at their face, they look at their bodies. That's always the case. Do you know how many friend requests I get from men all over just based on my profile picture, and they all message me, "Hey dear, hey baby," and they don't even know me. They didn't even look at my profile. What is that? What are you looking for? Well, maybe they're just looking to hook up. I don't know how we're going to hook up if you're all the way across the world. Anyway, that was my lesson. If I hadn't been blinded by physical beauty by Ray, maybe David and I would have been together a lot sooner. I want to regret. And David says he's got all these years left rubbing it in. And that's okay. That's okay because he makes me so happy now. But I do. Sometimes I wish that I hadn't fallen for that falseness. Because it took so many more years for him to come back into my life. It took so many more years for me to be worthy of him. When I said after my divorce, I said, "God, that's it. I don't care. I just want the one man that loves me for me." right after that, David found me because I was worthy of him again. We're taught so much falsehood. I want to correct this. I don't want other people to spend 23 years without the other person. What time is it? How long have I been on? Oh my God, it's been an hour. Are y'all still with me? Oh wow, there's 44 I can see. Hi Elizabeth, I'm glad you can see me. Ryan, you love my message? Thank you. You know, I realized that all I got is my story. You know, David will download. He's doing what he's supposed to do, but I have my story, and if I tell my story, if you learn from my story, good. I think that's where I need to begin because the mother wants me to. She's like, yeah, I've been very gentle with you, but now you need to tell people I'm here. All right, so anyway, wow, after that I became a partier. Yeah, I just a wild partier for years and years. I didn't have Luna be like that, because I see the potential. You know, it could lead kids down a destructive path. I don't want to say, oh, here's Luna, she's so cool, and now she's partying all over the place. But, I mean, I didn't party. I drank a lot. I have done crank. I have done acid. I have done mushrooms. But not a lot. And then, of course, there's the cannabis. That's what's stuck with me. Um, I fell in love with cannabis when I was a teenager because, whoa, I could sleep. Man, not only that, I would laugh. I got really depressed there for a while, you know? I mean, in the early days of my partying, I'd be partying. My mom was like, why are you guys partying so much? And I'd be like, well, we're alive. We're celebrating that we're alive, you know? And then later on, I become goth before goth became goth. I had my grandma make me a black cloak. I wore black all day. I got body powder that was white, and I just put that all over my face so I could just be so morose looking, you know? I loved The Cure, and I was just, sad. You know, my mom asked me, well, what are you guys sad about? You and all your friends. And I said, we're alive. So first we were partying because we're alive. Yay, we're partying because we're alive. And then, oh, why are you sad? Because we're alive. Teenagers. Anyway, um, so I had a boyfriend at this time. 16, 17 years old, I fell in love for the first time, and I became sexually active. I'd waited until I fell in love so that I could be a good girl. See, I was a good girl. Sometimes I kind of wish that well, never mind. So I had a boyfriend, yeah, and we were together for a while, and I was sleeping. I'd been sleeping for a while, and he was next to me. I'd been sleeping, gosh, about 12 hours already. And I don't know, anybody who's around my age, in the 80s, there was a lot of Mary sightings. People call her the Virgin Mary or the Lady of Guadalupe, the Lady of Medjugorje, she was appearing. This is when she appeared in Egypt, and she was appearing all over the world, and I was kind of interested in that. I had never really felt all that close to Mary because I saw this movie once a long time ago about a statue of Mary coming to life. It scared the crap out of me. So Mary kind of creeped me out a little bit, right? Anyway, so this was happening, and I had a People magazine that I had been reading about it. And so that day I'm sleeping, and I woke up. I was on my stomach, and I woke up, and I looked over. I opened my eyes for a minute, and I looked at the People magazine. And I started, and I was going back to sleep, and I started to think to myself, wow, I wonder if she'll ever come to me. Very innocent thought. But just like the covers, and the covers flew off of me, I didn't get a chance to finish that thought even, when boom, she was there. This wind came at me. I could see it in my mind's eye, coming up at me and hitting me, going up into my nostrils and filling my whole body with the rose scent. The wind was blowing around my room. I had a great big oriental fan sitting behind my head, and it was flapping bap, 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 against the wall. All my shit's flying around the room. I look over, my boyfriend, he is not waking up. I'm pushing on him. He would not wake up. I rolled over onto my back. She was on my left side. You guys know what that is. Left side is the feminine. So I'm like this. This is where my boyfriend is to the right. She's standing next to my bed. Every time I would turn my head like this, my eyes would shut. I could turn my head and they could open again. I could open them again if I turned my head, but every time I turned to look at her, they shut. I couldn't turn any more than this. So I was just like, try to hit my boyfriend. I could not see her. She would not let me see her. That was different. I'm laying there. Okay, well, warm wind blowing around my room, smelling like rose and like essence. You ever smell your skin? Smell your skin. That's what she smelled like. It filled my whole body. I knew who it was. But she wouldn't let me see her. And then she wouldn't talk to me. I mean, she's showing up all over the world. They can see her in light. They get messages, like people like Bernadette, Saint Bernadette, Saint Lucia, and the two. Yeah, I've looked these things up. Everybody, they either got to see her, or both. They see her and they get a message, or they at least get a message. I didn't get any of it. I was like, okay, well, so I'm laying there. Wind is going, man, I am awake. I've been sleeping for 12 hours already. finally I realized, okay, well, they talk to me in my dreams. That's something I forgot to go over. I have prophetic dreams. And I'll go over a specific dream called the Dreminate. It had a name. I will go over that in a moment when I'm done with the Mary story. So, I'm laying there. Boyfriend won't wake up. Warm wind everywhere. She's standing next to me. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, dreams. I don't know what she wants. I guess I gotta go back to sleep. Do you know how hard it is to go back to sleep with Mary standing next to your bed? What? Yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, oh, how am I gonna go back to sleep? I have a hard time going to sleep anyway. I've been sleeping for 12 hours. I'm pretty excited right now, 'cause Mary's there. My heart's going a mile a minute. And I gotta go. How am I gonna go to sleep? Oh, man. I shit you not. She stood there until I did it. Half hour, 45 minutes. I don't know. I don't know how long. It took me a really long time to calm the F down and go to sleep. So I did. So finally I went to sleep. I saw an image of her with a blue sky behind her, and I went to sleep. Excuse me. Then I had this dream that I was in an underground tunnel, dug out. It was dirt. And it was like a makeshift library. And I had my sister by the hand, and we were running. I was pulling her through it. That was my dream. That's all I got. After a while, I woke up again. She was gone. And I got up and I'm awake now. Where's my mom? Oh my God, right? Found my mom, told her what happened. We didn't know what the heck. We didn't know. She didn't give you a message? No. I had this dream. Yeah, I didn't know. My mom, she went and talked to a priest at the church. He said, I don't know. We all just kind of figured that it was because I was sleeping next to my boyfriend. Yeah, I wasn't worthy of me seeing her. Yeah, I must not have been worthy of that, you know, except for the fact that she was there, even while my boyfriend's next to me. I mean, so that played on my mind. I thought about that a lot. Why she came to me, I will finish later. But before I go, for today, I'm going to tell you the story of the dream, the Dreminate. I am not sure when this happened, if I was in elementary school or in junior high school, but I knew it was when I still lived in North Highlands, California. And what happens to me usually is I'll have a dream. It'll be kind of weird, but I'll remember it, and I'll tell my sister. And then later on, when I get the deja vu, because it's actually happening in front of my face, I would tell her. there was a bunch of other dreams too. My dreams have always spoken to me, and I've gotten pretty good at reading dreams. That's one of the things I can do. If somebody has a dream, let me know. I can help you with that. In this dream, I was on the back of an enormous swan. And I didn't understand the importance of this until just recently. Just a few months ago, I spoke with someone who is Indian and understood what had happened to me and told me. And that's why I was able to write this, that I was ionized on the Hope Evolved bio. But this is the story of it. My dream was that I was on a giant swan, as big as, I don't know, an ostrich. Huge. And I'm holding onto its neck, and my legs are kind of hanging off of it, but it's as big as my torso. It's just huge. And we're flying in beautiful clouds. Beautiful golden clouds. It was a beautiful experience. I just felt so happy in the clouds. Even though I was dangling pretty much off of I was perfectly safe. I knew that if I let go, I'd be falling. But that was beautiful. And then we came down into a small village, and there was a very small pond and a little pier where there was a man standing there. And he said that this had been one dream of a set of 3 dreams that I would have that night. It was the first in a set of 3 that I would have that night, and this particular dream was called the Dreaminet. I drew a picture of it, and I always remembered it so beautiful. I have a feeling that it happened after I gave my life to Spirit. When I say I give you my whole life, I don't think I finished that part, that the being afraid of all the spirits. One night I was just like, I give you my life. And I think that this dream happened after that. A few months ago, maybe last year, I told my friend Virendra, who's from India, about that dream. And since then, I had found out that the goddess Saraswati, the Indian goddess Saraswati, rides a giant swan. He told me that I was ionized by the Indian Trinity, the Indian feminine Trinity, which is called the Tridevi or Tridevi, Tridevi. The Trinity is Parvati, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Now, I never really knew anything about Indian gods or goddesses, but when I think about this, I realize that they are probably the oldest feminine trinity that is still being worshipped today. Before Mary, there was Parvati. Mary is much like Parvati. If you see a picture of her, you'll see that she wears the blue veil with stars. If you look at Lakshmi, you'll see that she's very much like Aphrodite or Venus, who is also a big part of my life. I named my dog Venus Juno, because I always loved Aphrodite. I was always very much into Greek mythology, and so in a way, I adopted them that way as well. The Greek gods and goddesses. Oh, and if anybody's my age and remembers that superhero show Isis, she was my favorite superhero. And they canceled that show and we never saw her again. And I was like, ah, psh. But as far as goddesses goes, Isis was the first one I loved. She was awesome. Okay, so Parvati is like Mary, Lakshmi is like Aphrodite, Saraswati is like Athena or Minerva. She's the goddess of wisdom, of weaving, of writing, and of weaving. That's all I'm going to say for today. I've been on for a while now. I'm glad I've been able to say it. I feel so much better. Thank you so much for being with me, my friends, for loving me, thinking I'm beautiful, listening to me. I share my wisdom usually only with people who I know really want to know. I don't waste my breath on people who really just want to talk about themselves. I don't go around talking to people and saying, hey, I'm this, and all this shit happened to me, and I'm so frickin' cool. I won't tell you until you ask. That's why today is such a big deal for me, because nobody asked. Thank you for being with me. I'll see you next Monday with more about what I've learned about why Mary did not talk to me. Because I know now. I know a lot now. I love you. Thank you so much. Ooh. Maybe I'll send you all a little energy. Would you like me to try that? With love from the hearts of all the goddesses I have spoken of today. With love from my heart. With love from our planet. With love from the great sacred feminine. The field of potential. I give you love. I hope you feel that. Because I feel your love.